Hello and welcome back to another video. In case you haven't heard, a popular, and I mean very popular, YouTuber and artist that goes by Jaiden Animations has recently come out as Arrow Ace on their YouTube channel in a video titled Being Not Straight. In this video they described how they don't talk about their personal life very often and don't want to be talking about their personal life in any more detail than they have described in the video. And as such, I didn't really want to cover this in detail in terms of what Jaiden said in the video. If you do want to watch it, you can go watch it yourself. It's an excellent video. However, I think this is quite a big event in the Ace and Arrow communities, and I think that it would be remiss of me not to cover it in some way. So I'm not going to be doing a reaction video. I don't want to talk about Jaiden themselves in particular, just because I don't follow their channel, and they've expressed that they want their personal life to remain personal. So bringing attention to that, I think, would be disrespectful on some level. However, I think this is a good opportunity to talk about the impact of popular YouTubers, or popular influencers, popular creators coming out as Ace or Arrow. To give a bit of background, but if you're on this platform and you are well versed in it enough to have somehow found my channel, you probably know that Jaiden Animations is a YouTuber and animator who makes animated storytime videos on the channel. They have 11 million subscribers, which is very large, and at time of recording, the Being Not Straight video has been watched almost 10 million times, which is humongous. There are two aspects to this in my mind. One, the size. So this one's obvious. The larger the creator, the larger their audience is, the more reach they're going to have. And it's almost exponential, because if someone enjoys a video, they may share it with their friends or their family or people they know online, and then it's going to have even more reach than just those initial subscribers and the initial people who come across the video in their feeds. But the other thing I think is important is the content of the channel. So I, for example, am a YouTuber who talks about asexuality and related topics. Obviously, people watching my channel want to know about Ace and or Arrow and or homoromantic things, right? People aren't going to come to my channel for anything other than that, really. So the people who come to my channel are probably already questioning that they're Ace, want to learn about asexuality, or are just Ace themselves and want to hear someone who is Ace talk about stuff. If you then compare that to the content that Jaiden Animations releases, this is general animated story time. Not only is it much broader in scope, more people will be able to relate to it, but also it's not relegated to just, for example, asexuality. So there's a good proportion of people who watch their channel who probably haven't heard of asexuality, who probably aren't asexual themselves. So if I were to talk about asexuality on my channel, shock horror, then the only people who are really going to hear about it are those who already know about it, or those who want to know about it. However, if a YouTuber whose content is not to do about asexuality talks about it, then all the audience who doesn't know about asexuality, who isn't asexual, can be educated about it. Now, this is, I think, a really important point. Try as I might, my activism on YouTube can't have that level of reach. I sit here as a source of information for people who are seeking it. Whereas if a large content creator whose videos aren't related to asexuality talks about it, they're going to be able to expand the amount of people who can be aware of asexuality and learn about asexuality to a much greater degree. And this makes it more important that the information being shared is accurate and well explained, and is a good introduction to the asexuality and aromanticism, the orientations. And just to briefly go back to the video, Jaiden Animations' video about this is nigh on perfect in my opinion. It is talking about their own experience, but it has very good explanations of asexuality and aromanticism from a definition standpoint to a experiential standpoint. And on top of that, despite the fact that Jaiden themselves said in the video that it's very base level information, it does cover some more advanced topics about the orientations. For example, how ace people may feel differently towards sex. Like, the level that you feel sexual attraction isn't necessarily linked to your attitudes towards sex. Someone can be an asexual but also be sex favorable, or want sex because they're in a relationship or because it feels physically pleasurable. And similarly, Jaiden mentions other relationship types. They don't go over it in detail, but it gives enough information for people who are curious about the topic, who want to learn more, to then look it up. And I think this is the perfect way to go about an introductory video for asexuality or aromanticism. So once again, I really do encourage you to go check out Jaiden's video on the subject. If you haven't already, I imagine you have. So concluding this section, I suppose, the impact that a large content creator whose subject matter on a general basis is not to do about asexuality has a massive reach that expands much further than people who might have an interest in, even a tangential interest in, asexuality and aromanticism. And with that greater reach and with that greater impact, unfortunately, comes a lot of people who are bigoted, and comes a lot of people who are aphobic. I haven't personally seen much of the aphobia myself. I'm not that good on social media or the internet in general, so I wasn't able to find many examples of the hate being shared, but I saw a lot of examples of people talking about the hate, which I suppose is a good thing, because that means it's being filtered out or moderated or drowned out by the positivity. But some things I did see that were mentioned, and I'll just give two examples, were that people thought that Jaiden Animations was coming out as Arrow Ace in order to get clout and popularity. And the second one was that Jaiden Animations was attempting to corrupt children with their degenerate ways. And to return to the first one briefly, I think the negative response that this video has garnered is proof that it is not an effective way of getting clout. And I don't think that anyone would assume that it would be. Being queer in any way, shape or form is not easy. It makes life harder because society is designed with an amatonormative, heteronormative, cisnormative lens. Why someone would pretend to be queer for recognition, I do not know. And any examples of that, which I have never come across and never heard of in any serious way, would be from people who are incredibly ignorant and don't understand the difficulties that come with being queer. I'm not familiar with Jaiden Animations besides this video to any extent, but from watching this video, they seem very informed, they know what they're talking about, and they understand the topic matter not only on a factual level, but on an experiential level. They understand what it's like to be Arrow Ace. And you can't just get that experience and explain it so well without experiencing it yourself. In their own video, they said that they hope that by making the video, they can help other Ace and Arrow people who may be watching understand themselves a bit better and point them towards resources and terminology and words that may help them accept themselves and understand their orientation. It's quite clear that the point of the video wasn't to gain popularity. It would be a very ineffectual way to do so. The point of the video was, despite not wanting to share anything personal about them, they thought it was important to talk about their orientation to help other people. And that's an amazing thing to do. It's not easy talking about yourself, and it is incredible when someone decides to do that at the expense of themselves to help other people. So honestly, it's quite insulting that people would say that Jaiden Animations is just doing it to get clout. Moving on to the second asinine reason why people have had a negative reaction to Jaiden Animations' video is that the LGBT plus community is trying to corrupt children. Corrupt children by telling them that it's okay not to want romance and sex, which is a strange one. Describing it as degeneracy is weird, because I don't know how an act can be considered degenerate when the act is not doing anything. It always perplexes me, it baffles me when people have such a problem with ace and arrows just wanting to live peacefully and happily. We're not hurting anyone. We just want to be recognized, and we want to help other people like us feel like they aren't broken, feel like it's perfectly okay to just be and not have to conform to societal ideas of romance and sex. I honestly think that it's abhorrent that people would withhold LGBT plus education and information from young people. There is a significantly increased chance of LGBT plus youth, trans youth in particular, ace and arrow youth even, having higher rates of anxiety, depression, and suicide. Being educated and being informed about these sort of things, being told that it's okay, being understood by other people, that can really help you be in a good mental state. That can really help you accept yourself and be able to concentrate on other things. Because that's the end goal, right? We want to be in a state where we can be happy, and we want to be in a state where we don't have to worry about the opinions of other people, and we want to be in a state where we don't have these bigots telling us there's something wrong with us, or that we're doing something for just attention, or that we're trying to corrupt children, which doesn't... It's so frustrating, and I don't normally get frustrated on this channel, and I apologise that I'm speaking quite fast, because when I'm frustrated I do, but the end goal of the LGBT plus community, the gay agenda as you will, the ace agenda, the arrow agenda, the trans agenda, whatever it is just to be happy and to live like everyone else. And we're not trying to bloody corrupt children, right? We're trying to help children. We're trying to make it so children don't kill themselves because they feel like something is wrong with them. We're trying to make sure that children have access to the information they need to feel like there's nothing wrong with them. We're trying to make sure that children are happy, and I don't know how anyone can be so... short-sighted as to think that that is wrong. Ta-da! They broke me finally. There has been a negative reaction to Jaiden Animations' video. And sorry for the rant. But above all that, as I mentioned earlier, there has been a humongous positive response. When I was scrolling through the comments under Jaiden Animations' video, there were so many people who were supportive. There were people who were ace themselves, who knew about it anyway and were glad that they were talking out about it. There were people who were allies of the community, who had siblings or friends who were ace or arrow. There were people who were discovering stuff about themselves because of Jaiden Animations' video. Maybe they didn't know they were arrow or ace spec. Maybe they got more confident in their orientation because Jaiden Animations was sharing their experience. Someone they trusted was validating the way that they felt. There were people who had no connection to asexuality and aromanticism who learnt about this and accepted it because it's a lived and true experience. And I'm happy that so many people will be supported by this, and so many people will feel validated for this, and so many people will be educated by this, because that's the power of a video like this. I'm incredibly proud of Jaiden Animations for having done this. It's an incredible thing to do to support the ace and aro communities in awareness and to educate people who may not know about it. It may seem like a small thing to make a video like on the internet, but I'm sure that this will have expanded the reach of ace and aro activism quite significantly and made leaps and bounds in the efforts to make it so people understand and accept asexuality and aromanticism. So, I don't know if I've said it already, I've been recording for a while, but I'd just like to thank Jaiden Animations for this, because no matter what people say, it's such an amazing thing to do. When I sat down to do this video, I wasn't expecting it to be as long as it is. It got a bit heated in the middle. I can, on occasion, get quite passionate about these things. I do encourage you, if you haven't already, to go watch Jaiden Animations' video. I have left a link to it in the description below. As always, if you enjoyed this video, then please leave a like. I post videos every Saturday, so if you want to see more, then feel free to subscribe. That is all I had to say today. Have a wonderful day, and I shall see you next time.